Okay, let's continue with the next speech. The next speaker is going to, he's attempting Project 6 of the Competent Communicator Manual. The title of the speech is The Day I Gave Up. I call upon his evaluator, Joseph Das, to read out the guidance.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The objectives for the speech are use voice volume, pitch, rate, and quality to reflect and add meaning and interest to your message. Use pauses to enhance your message. Use vocal variety smoothly and naturally. Timer, please note the time is from 5 to 7 minutes. Over to you, MC.
Yeah. The next speaker is an MTech graduate from Vellore Institute of Technology. He likes scuba diving and all adventure sports. I call upon Deshikar to present his speech. Put your hands together for
We've all had differences of opinion with most of our close ones, be it friends or parents. Many of these make a relationship stronger, while others break it. Let me share a page in the book of my life. It was a bright summer day, and I was excited because I was about to go to my native place and meet with my cousins. I was eager to meet them, but I had to hold my horses because from Bangalore, my native place is around 112 kilometers, which means a 2.5-hour journey. Now, the event was Urahabba, which is celebrated by all the villagers together. Now, we reached there. Now, before that, I wanted to ride our car all the way over there because it has been 6 months since we had gotten our car, and I got my DL very recently. So I wanted to hit the 110 kph in my car and show to my dad that I'm capable of it. Now, I had all these in my mind. My dad had other plans. After a heated argument, he decided to take my brother's side, and he was chosen for the prestigious position of driver, which meant I was riding shotgun, and he was saying, "You see, I can do 110 over here. You can't." Ha ha ha. Okay. Which left me fuming because I wanted to do that. Throughout the journey, I never spoke to my father. We got to our native place. I got down and I went with my cousins. We were having a lot of fun, enjoying the festivities, bursting crackers, launching rockets, not the PSLV ones, just into the air, not into space. So, that being said and done, we were having a lot of fun when we were called to pull the chariot. The chariot was a 40-feet mammoth, and it required a lot of people to pull it, and that's a norm there, and pulling it is an honor. All of us, all of my cousins, my family, friends, and my relatives, everyone was there pulling it, and then boom! A swarm of bees attacked everyone. No one knew what was the purpose. No one knew what provoked them. But we all ran helter-skelter. I was with my mother, I ran to a shed, and we ducked down. None of us were harmed, but we were ducking down to ensure the swarm passes by. It was then that my brother came panting, running, and he was like, "Your father has just been hit by the swarm. The swarm has attacked my father." I froze for a moment. I went into survival mode. I checked my pockets, I found keys, I threw to him. Instantly we knew what had to be done. He went to get the car, I went to find my father. I picked up a towel and a bottle of water on the way. When I found my father, the sight was terrifying. My father alone, with a swarm of bees surrounding him, he was literally fighting for his life. I went there, shooed some of them away to buy time. In the meantime, my brother got the car, and I got into the front seat, and my father crashed into the back seat. Now, my cousin was driving like a madman because we had to reach the hospital in time. All the time, I'm on the back side trying to remove all the stingers from my father while holding onto the seat because my cousin right now was pedaled to the metal, and I removed a lot of stings. The stings were everywhere, on his face, on his scalp, on his neck, on his chin, everywhere. And I was trying to remove one after another. There seemed no end to it. Sometime later, we reached the hospital. I was screaming for the doctor to admit my dad. The doctor came in and he gave a lot of prescriptions. My brother stood to get him in. In the meantime, me and the nurse and I were removing all the stingers. After a 30 or 40 more removal, my father was able to move his hands. He pointed towards his ear. There was still one more bee stuck inside his ear. I removed it and squashed it. After a while though, my brother came back. He gave the medicines to the doctor. The doctor came like God to ease my father's pain. After 15 minutes of treatment, my father was at ease. He was out of danger, but still was not able to speak. I went and got some hot milk. The first thing you do when someone gets stung by a bee, you give them something sweet because it kind of eases the pain. It kind of acts like an antitoxic to the stings. So after that, he dozed off. He survived it. That was when the chief doctor came in, pulled me aside and said, "Do you know how many bee stings your father had to endure?" I said, "I have no idea." He said, 150 odd, 150 plus. And he said, "If you were to have been late by 10 more minutes, my father wouldn't have been alive today." A chill went through my spine. That was the day I gave up on holding petty grudges against someone and fueling of differences. All I want to tell you today, Toastmasters, is that cherish every moment with everyone, especially your loved ones. You never know when it may be your last. This does remind me a quote by Gautam Buddha. It goes something like this: your heart is like a garden. It can grow compassion or fear. It can grow resentment or love. What seeds do you choose to plant? It's love.